I came here for a master's, right? And I was like, I need to start building my brand. I need to start putting myself out there. I remember, oh my goodness, I remember the first ever person that I trained, and she paid me 75 Chinese yuan for 1 hour workout. We pretty much gathered a whole community of students who wanted to train, and so we would do workout sessions outdoor at the track field of my university. He saw that I was doing some form of group coaching, and then he was like, hey, you seem to be doing some interesting stuff. Would you be up for an opportunity to join us? I Googled right away, like F45 train, and I was like, what the this is a big thing. Like, imagine me going there. I was like super excited. I'll never forget. And so there I was, 2017, came to China to study for a master's, decided to go all in on my fitness craft at the same time and to start posting more on my journey on social media. To then 2019, I believe, or 2018, being offered the opportunity of a lifetime to work for one of the biggest fitness franchises in the world, which when you look at it, it actually only took me like 2 years. Because yeah, I remember I was graduating, I think it was a little bit before I graduated from my master's, which means it was after 2 years that I was offered that opportunity to work with F45. Um, so that was it. I worked with F45, which obviously was like, I will always be grateful to the staff, to the franchise, to the community for welcoming me, as well as for allowing me to develop myself. Because in terms of developing myself, I've definitely developed so many great skills in terms of, like social skills, human skills, training skills, obviously in-person training. I would confidently say that after the 5 years that I spent at F45, I've already trained like over 5,000 of different people in person. And that is a very powerful experience, mostly as a trainer who ended up merging online. Because something also about coaching online is that people think it is easy, but I truly believe if I didn't spend a certain amount of time being in person, interacting with people and doing more, like hands-on type of coaching and pretty much sensing people's emotions and those kinds of things, then I would have definitely struggled to be able to impact lives from behind the camera, right? And so that has been one of the best period of my life, and which takes us to 2019 when COVID started. So everything went well, really. I was doing my 45 coaching, and I was still doing a little bit of my group coaching at the dorm, because I always had this mindset of I need to keep doing something for myself. I need to keep building something for myself. I always had this mentality, which is also going to be the next lesson that I teach you. You always make sure that whatever you do, and this is for the people who want to become entrepreneurs, who want to become their own things, and who wants to listen to their own selves and not obey to the rules or the instructions or the orders of another boss. Whatever you're doing at the moment, whatever your goals are towards that entrepreneurial journey, I really think you will have some way somehow to work with someone first, to work for someone first. And as you work for that person, take that job as an opportunity for you to grow your skills. But as you grow your skills within that company, always try to make time for your personal craft. All right, so that you would have acquired skills here, build your craft here, acquire skills, build your craft, and maybe start or eventually launch your craft. And you would then reach a point where your craft, due to the time that you have spent working on it on the side of your main job, has now become something so strong and tangible and beneficial and fruitful and productive enough that now you can quit the main job and go full time into the your personal side hustle, being fully confident and comfortable that it is going to be a good it is going to work. Because I think the mistake that I see and I hear people making is they want to quit a job that they don't like and start a company. But I feel like if you quit and then only decide to start this company now, then this road is going to be a long one, a painful one, which might discourage you and then which might eventually make you just go back to working for someone. But if you work for someone and at the same time as you work for someone, you also build up your personal thing, and that's the both of these like grow together, your skills improve here, whatever kind of capacities and assets you're developing for the company, and at the same time you're still pouring at the same time into this personal thing that you have right here, eventually this will be secure enough so you will not be scared of leaving this main company, but you'll directly leave them and land into a very safe and secure spot, as opposed to not having anything on this side, not building anything at all for yourself, and giving everything you got for this company, knowing good and well that you will not end up there, giving everything that you got and then being tired and jumping off the bridge and realizing that there's nothing to catch you here except another very bottom, another very empty, and another very low starting point. That's what I would say is the worst scenario, a scenario that I never wanted to have, which actually will get in that will get to that part very soon. But one of the reasons why I was able to launch my online coaching company and I was able to directly like make tremendous amount of money around the first 4 months exactly, like I reached six figures within the first 4 months of launching my company, is because I had firstly spent like 5 to 6 years taking it easy. I was like just watering the plant, and at the same time I was also still working here, there, I was working everywhere at the same time, but at the same time I was still growing this thing slowly. And then I reached a point where I was like, okay, I feel like this now can keep me going for at least 1 2 months and 3 months, give me the time to figure it out. So I dropped everything and I jumped onto this and I went all in on my company. And obviously what happened when I went all in is that now instead of spending, I would say, a minimum, at that point I was spending like at least, I would say, 20 hours or 40 hours of my time working elsewhere, doing all kinds of different stuff. And now I was taking those hours back and investing it into my company. And the what happened next was obvious. Like the company grew, the value became very, it became very obvious. And I want to say easy, but it wasn't easy because I had to put fire under my ass during those days. But anyway, so I was pretty much working with them around 2019, 2018, and then 2019, yeah, because that's when COVID started. COVID started obviously after that. And work stopped. There was nothing to do at all. And then COVID, and then life kind of, like there was the 1 to 2 month lockdown. There was no work, everybody was scared, everybody, like there was nothing that you could do literally in terms of work. Gyms were one of the sectors that were heavily beaten down by COVID, because mostly boot camp gyms, like because COVID basically taught us the whole social distancing, like the whole avoid from hanging out with too many people, while F45 as well as most gyms are all about being involved with people. So for a certain period of time, I think for about 3 months or 4 months, we didn't have work. We didn't have like anything at all at F45, which have gotten me to realize, because like I realized early on when COVID was like really kicking asses, that like if I don't try to look for ways to make money again, then this is gonna be really bad for me. So I went back into going even harder on my social media, on my learning, and on my trying to promote myself out there. All right. And again, this makes us go back to what I said earlier, which was always work on your own stuff, because when everything stops around you, your own stuff is something that you'll always be able to control and leverage and improve with the right skills and with the right strategies. So that's what I did when COVID started, and that there was no work to do at all. I started to just pretty much I started to make more content. I was starting to advertise myself like, hey, you want a one-on-one personal trainer? I can do that. I can train you. You want an online coach to hold you accountable? I will train you. The idea of training people online was not necessarily a a thing yet, but I was still like, like just trying to get clients and train people one on one. And so that picked up. That actually picked up, and came a certain time period around 2020 where I was pretty much all over Beijing, like coaching people. Like I would travel 1 hour in the subway early morning to go to one spot. From that spot, I'd have to run back into the subway to travel 30 minutes again to train someone else, and I'll have to like go to another spot. I was like everywhere every day, and I also was pretty much doing that almost every time. And on top of that, classes resumed too. Like the gyms for group classes were open, so we were actually resuming our group classes. And in that same occasion, I also was starting to like work with another gym called JPEG Boxing, and I think another gym as well. So I was like there at that exact moment. I was everywhere. 2020 and 2022, I believe, I was everywhere. You wouldn't even imagine. Like, I was unhealthy, firstly. I was in the worst shape of my life. Like, I would still work out, but my body at the time, my body was just tired of me. Like, I was just gaining weight, gaining belly fat for no reason. I was falling sick very often. I was always having some injuries. That's actually one of the time periods where I dislocated my knee, because that's just how stressed I was. I was everywhere, which have gotten me to think. I was like, I cannot keep doing in person coaching forever, because obviously, if I work and if I want to make money out of coaching, then I obviously want to make a certain high amount of money. And given the fact that in person coaching is a way for me to make money by trading my time for money, and that every day I'm basically very limited on the amount of physical time that I can give to someone. And that means that the amount of money that I can earn from physical coaching is also quite capped, unless I start to like really work every day from 6 to 9 nonstop, risk my health in the same process, obviously, because that's the only outcome. Coaching is very, very energy taxing, mostly when it comes to group class coaching. I would spend 1 day of coaching group 3 to 4 group classes. At the end of the day, I would be toasted, because obviously I'm not just the type of coach who stands up and who just watches people and who just like walks around. I really interact. I really try to give everybody the time of their lives, which is a very rewarding process. Firstly, it's really rewarding and very enjoyable, but it also kills you. So, as I was enjoying that process of being a personal and group class coach, there was always this plant, this seeds that was starting to like getting planted and grow in my mind. I was like, I need to find a way to make coaching use less of my energy and less of my time, and allow me to help more people and allow me to 2x or 4x my income. And that's when I started to like think of online coaching. So now I think it was 2021, 22. I think it was around 2022 that I went harder in the field of creating systems to like really set up my online coaching. Around COVID, it was already kind of like in my service, or I was already including one-on-one online check-in, online accountability, online meal plans in my service whenever I would go train people one on one. But I was definitely more on the in-person side of things. I was not really on the online side yet, but with time I started to understand that the way for me to grow is to really go online. And as I was speaking about this to people, they actually would tell me, how do you coach people online? How do you train people online? I think people like connection. I think people like this, like that. No, people don't care about that. People like result. Whatever system you set for people online for them to follow, and whatever you can guarantee you could give them the result that they want, will make them feel better, will make them reach their goals. That's what they want, it will work. And so in my mind though, at first I also believed, I was like, the one-on-one interaction is the most valuable interaction ever. But the truth is, I could meet that person today, train that person for 1 hour, then meet that person again after 2 days, and then after 4 days I would pretty much just only be spending 3 hours in total per week with that person. Then I wouldn't see them at all for the rest of the week. I wouldn't be aware of what they do with their diet, what time they're sleeping, what kind of thing they do during the rest of the time. And then next week they would come back to me and they would have gained weight, they would have hurt themselves, they would have done some bullshit. So online is valuable because of the one-on-one interaction, sure, but it doesn't give the person a system to execute when they are not in person. So that actually used to be one of the ways that I would market my online coaching service, because when I first started to implement and to introduce and to promote my online coaching service, that used to be the very first objection that I had. Like, I want to meet someone in person to train me. Then I was like, yeah, sure, I could definitely come train you in person, but listen, in order for you to change your physique and to improve your physique, you're pretty much aware. I believe that nutrition, lifestyle, sleep, stress management, recovery is what really matters. So that means that I could be training you every day at the gym for 1 hour, but if I don't look for ways to monitor and to hold you accountable the rest of the time, you'll not see results. So I suggest that maybe you and I can meet each other once a week, but most of the time I'll set up systems and game plans and homeworks for you to do during the week without me close to you to keep you busy and productive, and that way we'll create results. That used to be one of my first marketing pitch to people. Which brings us to the next lesson that I have for you. Whenever you want to sell a service to someone, you need to think, and also you need to market the result that the person is gonna get. Obviously this sounds like very obvious, but what I'm trying to say here is that you need to market the results in a way where the person can get more from you without having to spend too much time with you. That's actually the way that I was trying to like make my marketing pitch sound like. It's like, hey, you know that if you pay me for in-person workout sessions 3 times a week and every week, that's going to become very expensive, as opposed to just paying me a certain amount of money and I coach you online, I can guarantee you results, and that's going to be it. And it used to work. Marketing, selling your service is all about shifting the person's beliefs, because the person, for some reason, they already believe a certain thing. They already believe that the sky is blue, they already believe that the earth is flat or round or whatever, and then you need to come with a certain sets of tips, certain sets of arguments, and a certain sets of ideas to make them understand that, hey, the sky is blue, but if we look at the sky from another part of the world, the sky is going to be a different color, blah blah, whatever. You pretty much always play around with beliefs. You always try to like convince the person that there's another option that is realistic, that will fit them better, and that is going to be way much more efficient for them. So that's how you market your service. And so going back to me starting to like really build my online coaching presence, I reached a point where I was able to stop most of my in-person coaching session, and then I was at a point where I was doing only F45 group coaching, JPEG group coaching, and I was coaching. I was able to merge most of my clients online and also build a clientele online. And I was doing that as well on the side. And I was only doing a few one on one personal training sessions. I basically reached the point that I actually really liked, because I was like, okay, let me just work on my thing. And then when it's time to go interact with people and to coach, I would just go. Like, I would still have enough time. But then, with time, and I also believe that this comes from my entrepreneurial mindset, and also from pretty much that goal that I've set when I first came to China of reaching 1 billion people, of also not wanting to take shit from anybody. And I firmly believe that anyone who starts an entrepreneurial journey, anyone who starts their own business, this is definitely me, being my own boss is such a pride that I have whenever I wake up every day. I love the fact of waking up every day, not having to think of going for any commute, not having to think of meeting or reporting to anybody, not having to think of giving an excuse if I'm ever late, not having to think of sitting or doing a certain job for a specific amount of time from 9 to 5 every day and having to repeat that from Monday to Friday. I love the fact that my office is right here. This is literally my computer, my this is my desktop. Like, literally, I am able to work from here. My bedroom is right behind. As soon as I wake up, I sit here, I start to work. I genuinely love the fact that I'm able to start working whenever I want. I'm able to stop working whenever I want. I'm able to give myself holidays. The literally just 2 weeks ago, I went to Malaysia because I can, not because somebody gave me the permission to do so. And while in Malaysia, I was still able to work. I took my laptop with me. I was there working. I loved the fact that I could have that much control and that much ownership and that much voice and that much freedom at the same time over my work and over my life, which is definitely one of the reasons why I've always, since a long time ago, I've always wanted to build my own business, to work for myself. That sense of ownership, that sense of independence, that sense of, hey, I'm my own fucking boss and I'm good at this shit. I always wanted to have this feeling. And so it actually made me realize that I'm doing quite well for a 29 years old entrepreneur. Anyway, so that's exactly the same mindset that I had. I was like, okay, I'm in a good place. I have my group class coaching here. I have my online coaching here. But you know what? I think the online coaching is going pretty well. So, and actually, also last year, 2023, I've had a few kind of last year, December 2023, I've had a few, let's say, situations, right? I had a few situations which have also slowly pushed me towards the idea of going on my own, making my business legit, making my business an actual business, and going all in on my business. But obviously, the ambition and the eagerness to be my own boss was still the top reason why I ended up taking the decision to launch my company. So long story short, I launched my company. Okay, December 2023. I worked with an agent. And by the way, if you are someone who is in Beijing, who is looking for an agent to help them with, like, to help you with setting up your company, with starting your entrepreneurial dream, let me know. My agent is amazing. The process was honestly, like, I stressed a lot during the 2 months of the process of setting up my company, hiring myself, giving myself my own visa, but it just went smooth. There was no problems at all. It was expensive. Firstly, it was expensive. There's a certain price to pay for the freedom that you want. So before starting a company in China, you need to make sure that you have a certain budget. There is obviously a way to create your company alone. You can do it yourself, which is obviously very cheap, but I'm a coach myself. I know that people pay me so that I avoid them from making mistakes, so that they can get to where they want faster with less roadblocks and less, like zigzag along the way. So that's also the same mindset I had when I hired my agents to help me with my company. I was like, I might be able to do this thing alone, but I hear a lot of stories about how complicated it gets and a lot of things that you need to take care of. So let me just give this woman my money and let her handle it. So I went the expensive way, but it is worth it. Honestly, it saved me a lot of headache, a lot of back and forths, which I couldn't afford around that time of the year last year, December, because I was going through some situations, and so the company was set February 24th earlier this year. And then I was like, okay, I think it's time to just say bye to everybody. So I literally stopped. I stopped going anywhere and I decided to just work fully on my company only. Now, this whole online coaching thing has to fucking work because, like, hey, this is it now. I'm doing this thing. This is my company. I'm the owner. I'm the manager. I'm the coach in here. I need to pay myself a salary. I need to make this happen. And with that said, the whole making it happen thing, I guess that's also the same mindset that have gotten me to just reach six figures within the first 4 months. I'll never forget this. It was an amazing milestone, which by the way, there's another video in which I speak about this. I speak about how if you're watching this on YouTube, then I'll try to link that video. But it's a video in which I spoke about how I doubled my revenue after creating my own business, how I pretty much added fire onto the oil. All right. If you listen to this on Red Circle, then you're gonna have to come hang out on YouTube. But anyway, so that's pretty much how the story went, guys. It started off with a heartbreak. My entrepreneurial journey started off with a heartbreak. I got heartbroken. I told myself, "You ugly, you ain't worth shit." And then there's another voice in my head that told me, "No, you are worth something. Go find something to develop yourself." And so I found fitness. Fitness found me. Fitness and I became close friends very early on. I would say 10 years ago. So friends, so close that I eventually decided to start building my craft, helping people, sharing my journey, sharing what I do. And so started to just put myself out there, put my stuff out there. Came to China, decided to take things up a notch, so went harder on social media starting from 2017. Hard on social media, hard on building a reputation, a community. That university where I went, Beijing University of Technology, I'm pretty proud to say that if you ask anybody who was in the same promotion as me, who was there at the same time as me, they will, most of them, because I was not friends with a lot of people. We used to have fucking assholes in my dorm, fucking racist, discriminative people, which to whom I didn't speak to. But if you ask to most of the cool and the good people, they would know me as the fitness guy. They would know me as the guy who was always in the gym, who was pretty much doing a lot of things. And so this actually is where everything started. If I could really attribute who I am today to a very specific moment, and I would say it's that moment where I've started to create a community. I've started to let more people know about me, let more people know about who I am, and of course I've started to help and provided value to people. So this is going to be the last lesson with which I'm going to leave you. Whatever you want to sell, make sure that it is valuable to someone. Don't just sell something for the sake of selling and making a buck. Sell that thing with the aim of changing a life. All right. And so your very first intention whenever you want to provide a service, and this is actually why you should do more things for free, which is something I personally do until today. By the way, I don't think I'm hot shit. I know there's a lot of people who don't want to do free stuff because they're scared that the person is gonna use their stuff, because they think they spend a lot of time on their stuff and that it's something very valuable. No, it's whatever you create. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of bigger people who have created that thing for half the price that you provide. Just put that in your mind. And so, anyway, I digress. You need to provide your service with the aim to change a life, because changing a life, changing the person's situation, changing the person's mindset, changing the person's way of thinking, and in my case, mostly changing the person's fitness and health, has such an impact and is a very rewarding thing, which for which the person is always going to be grateful to you. And a person who is grateful to you for a service that you gave to them is a person that is going to refer you. And this is the power. This is where things become really powerful, because you could market yourself however you want, how many times you want in a day. You might have a little bit of traction, but if someone else market your service and what you did for them, and speak about what you did for them to other people who are also struggling with the same problem, and who happen to be similar to this person right here, these people are all gonna come. I cannot tell you the number of times I had new clients who came from referral, who came because they heard about me from a friend of them who used to work with me, and who found amazing value in my service. So all of this because I'm really intentional about changing someone's life. Whenever I sit on a coaching call with someone, on a check-in call with someone, my first intention is this call and this session has to be valuable in some way. This person has to leave this call, this person has to leave this coaching interaction with something new that they know they will be able to use, and they will be able to keep in mind either short term or long term. That's my first intention. I don't just do like, hey, okay, so this is what you did, cool, keep it up then, good luck, you're doing great. No. I've had clients whom have worked with me for now 2 years, and I still find new homeworks to give them after 2 years. After 2 years, you would think that we've already figured everything out, probably, but I'm the type of person who would think you've been with me for 2 years, but I still want to teach you new things because I still want to give you value for the time that you spent here. And I guess that same mindset is also why some of those clients have stayed for 2 years. I've had clients who have stayed with me for a long period of time, which I think is all due to the fact that I'm really serious about changing life. I approach people, I try to sell services, I go into interaction with the sole idea of providing maximum value and nothing else. I always speak about how I made 6 figures because that's the sexy marketing that's out there. That's the way to attract attention. But it's not like making 6 figures or making money was the biggest of my goals. The biggest of my goals is to reach 1 billion people's lives. And the other biggest goal that I have is to make sure that all of those people get as much value as possible. I want people to look at me and to think of me as someone that they want to learn things from. I want them to look at me and to think of me as the person whom they have encountered and with whom they have had only one interaction, and that interaction have made a lot of switch flipped. That interaction made a lot of switch flipped. Oh fuck me, you know what I'm trying to say. Oh, fuck this English language. By the way, guys, I'm French, okay? So go easy on me with my accent, my grammar, or anything. The other day, I had someone who went hard on me because I made some grammatical and typing errors on my post, and that person was like, "Yeah, you need to review your grammar before becoming a personal trainer." And I was like, "What? Is this guy even aware that I'm not even an English speaker? And like, how the hell does my grammar has to do with my ability to become a personal trainer?" And like the time, and by the way, I had became a personal trainer despite my accent, despite any sort of language flaw that I had. So that person can kiss my ass. That's it. Okay, kiss my ass. I digress. um Fuck, I lost my train of thought. But again, guys, I guess the last thing is, let me go back real quick to, just wanting to provide value to people. Okay, so again, 2017 started to work out. All right, came to Beijing, started my community, put myself out there, got noticed by another gym, this should be your reminder to always keep going and to put yourself out there. And then while working for the gym, I always kept working on my own thing. With time, I became big enough to the point where I was busy both from the side of what I was doing for myself as well as for the side of part-time jobs and working for this gym and that gym, which have gotten me to think of a more efficient and optimal solution to keep growing and helping people, which have got me to think of the online coaching. With time, I was starting to like find a certain place of stability between online coaching and between my online coaching services and part-time work with different gyms. But then my entrepreneurial spirit kicked in. My I want to be my own boss mentality kicked in. So I was like, okay, let me just burn the bridges and pretty much go all in on my business. And here we are today, guys. 10 years, 10 to 11 years journey. All right, I'm 29 years old today. This entire story started at 19 years old. So it looked like it took a lot of time, but I also know that it took time because that's the time that I actually needed to grow new skills and to acquire all kinds of new knowledge to equip me with the skills and the capability and the asset that I need to run my business today. And so do I regret all the time that I spent and all those different directions that I've taken during the process? No, because I know that they have all played a role in teaching me an important lesson that I would take with me today. And I'm so excited about the upcoming 5 years, the upcoming 10 years. I'm pretty sure the future is great, but obviously I need to keep myself on track. All right, guys, if you guys enjoy the podcast, leave a like, leave a comment, share it to a friend of yours that you also think is on a journey to become an entrepreneur. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.